Hey everybody, welcome in Westwood Living Podcast. Tom Leyden with you from the Westwood Public Library with Ann Fortune, who is one of the co-presidents of the Westwood Community Chest. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for letting us come speak to you.
Of course. Happy Friday. It's a beautiful day. It didn't look so beautiful this morning, but the sun poked its way out, which is fantastic. Spring is here, and part of the early part of spring every year is the Gala of Giving.
Correct.
And we're in countdown mode at this point. A lot of hard work put in by Teresa and Brooke and the entire Gala committee. And it's exciting because it's going to be at Norfolk Golf Club. And I want to get your take on what we should expect as we've been promoting this Gala of Giving, which is scheduled for Saturday, the 29th at Norfolk Golf Club.
Right. So people may remember the gala is usually on a weeknight, and we had some feedback last year. So we're trying something different, having it on a Saturday night and hoping that folks can come out and celebrate with us and celebrate everything that's good about Westwood and everything that the Community Chest stands for, which is supporting all of our neighbors across town and people who may be in need throughout our community. We
are close to a sellout. I think we're within the final 30 tickets available,
close.
Right? And you go to westwoodcommunitychest.org and get your tickets. And if you're listening to this right now, you can even do it while you're listening. So what might people expect next Saturday night?
So I think we'll have great food, and I think that we'll have some great people and conversation, but we also have some incredible auction items.
Yeah, we had a meeting last week, and people were listing off these auction items. And you should go just for these opportunities.
Correct.
Because don't forget, when you bid on these auction items, a portion of what you're giving is tax deductible. So that's fantastic.
Right.
Subtract the value of the gift, and there's your tax deduction. So you get some really good opportunities. Are you prepared to rattle off some of these?
I am ready. And folks should also know that every dollar that they give to an auction item is going to go to help a person in need in town. So helping folks with rent, their utility bills, summer camps, all those things, really important. So we have really exciting experiences. So we hope people are excited to come out and bid on. We have 4 box seats to the Boston Red Sox Dodgers game, which is going to be a hot game this summer in July.
The world champs coming to town.
That's right. We have 4 Celtics tickets next season game. 4 Pats tickets, also incredible seats. We hope folks can come too. We have a gorgeous weekend getaway in Stowe, Vermont.
Yes.
Which looks
Always
really
popular.
exciting, very popular. We have private pickleball lessons, which is one of the biggest sports coming.
Do you play pickleball?
A little bit here and there.
You do?
A little bit.
I've never done it.
Yeah. My husband's a big racket sports person, and pickleball is not something he plays, but I figured I'd try my hand at it.
Okay, so you might be bidding is what you're saying.
We'll see.
All right, continue.
A golf outing at the Charles River Country Club, which is a great course to be able to get on. And one of the things that I think is really exciting, we have a driver's ed package from Needham Driving School.
Yes.
And anyone who has a teenager knows how expensive that is and how you have to just do it. And so Needham Driving School has been very generous to us this year, offering us a whole driving package for a bidding auction winner.
Fantastic job by the committee, and we should give the committee their due. So go ahead and tell us who's working on the committee.
So Brooke Brown is an incredible Gala committee member. She's been working real hard pulling in all these auction items, and Teresa Laham, the two of them together are putting this whole gala together, and they're doing a great job.
And I love that they have listened to the feedback, and there's nothing wrong with what's been done in the past, but just that natural progression of doing things a little bit differently each year.
Right.
From Chiara to Neroli, now to the Norfolk Golf Club, and now shifting it over to Saturday night. I'm curious to see the overall reaction that we get, but it seems to be pretty good so far.
Sure, yeah, and we hope so, and then, maybe we'll try something new again next year.
Well, I like that we spread it around.
Correct.
So I'm on the board of the Westwood Community Chest. Ann is one of the 2 co-presidents. Jim McLaughlin is the other co-president. How do you become a co-president of this board? What is the progression? How long have you been with the organization, and how did you become a co-president?
Sure. So I've been on the Community Chest board for 3 years. I became the president earlier this year. I was really happy to be asked to join the Community Chest board a few years ago. I've actually grew up in Westwood, so I've lived here. I did move away for a little while, but I did come back, and I have a background working in nonprofits and working with all sorts of different populations. And sometimes you look in your own backyard and you realize that there are a lot of folks that need help right here. So it's been really rewarding to be part of the Community Chest, to be able to be part of a group that is doing good across the town of Westwood. So I was really thrilled when I was asked to join the board, and it's been a great experience.
Now, there are challenges associated with what we do because it's very difficult to give case studies because everything that we do is anonymous.
Yes.
I have no idea, nor does any member of the board have any idea who's applying for help.
That's right.
It's all anonymous, which is great because it should therefore not inhibit somebody for fear of embarrassment from applying for help. But at the same time, one of our challenges is getting out the stories.
Right.
So generically, is it possible to maybe say these are the types of people who we help? And this is people who have an immediate short-term financial need, and then maybe we can get into the camperships after that. But let's talk about the people with the immediate short-term financial need. Give me a couple of generic case studies the best we can.
Yes. So we have a lot of seniors in town, a lot of veterans, people who are really in crisis in terms of rent. Maybe utility bills. This year, the utility bills are really high, and sometimes people just can't get it together. They may have a medical issue that is draining some of their resources, or just rent is a little bit higher than they planned on. And so there's a lot of folks that approach us. But yes, it is all confidential. We have staff that help us manage the grant application process. So the folks involved on the board are not aware of the individuals who are applying. But it is nice to be able to help those in need. So sometimes we do have young families as well who have challenges. They may have kids and multiple expenses for all sorts of different things. So it's nice to be able to step in and help.
And now let's shift over to the concept of camperships. Because what does that mean when we say we help out people with financial assistance to attend camp? It sounds simple, but it may not be so simple.
Right.
So describe kind of how that works.
Sure. So we do have a very large campership fund. Again, summer camp is really expensive, and it's getting even more expensive. So we have a wonderful relationship with the Westwood Recreation Department, and we work with them really closely, also with Hale Education, who also, of course, has one of the largest camps here in New England. If someone is in need of a little extra support to send their kid to camp, they can go to our website and apply. Again, all anonymous. And our campership committee works really closely with Westwood Rec, Hale, really any camp. It doesn't have to be one of those two, but we'll try to put together enough funds to help kids and families have unique and wonderful summer and school vacation experiences.
Yeah, and now's the time.
Now's the
time. When you think about that, we're almost turning the calendar over to April, which will be right after the gala, which is set for the 29th. People are making those summer plans, so you want to go, if you think you may need some assistance, to westwoodcommunitychest.org and just follow the prompts and fill out the application. And again, we will not know. It is a confidential process, which I think is so very, very important.
And it's worth noting, I think, that since 2007, the Community Chest has sent more than 600 children, Westwood children, to summer camp. And we've provided more than $300,000 to families needing a little bit of extra support for summer and school vacation enrichment experiences.
So when you think about the fact that our ticket to the gala is $125 per person, I think you're getting good value because you're going to have a good time and you're going to have great food and you have a great opportunity to get these fantastic auction items. But it is, in the grand scheme of things, when you think about that $300,000 number you just threw out there, a small component of the big need.
Right.
So, if you can step up, this is a great way to step up and have a good time at it.
Yes.
But another major component of the success of this event is that we do have some fantastic sponsors who deserve their day in the sun.
That's right.
So I know you have that list too. So we should give the people who have decided to sponsor this year's Gala of Giving some props.
100%. We really could not do it without them and without all of our sponsors. We want to start with Roach Brothers. I think anyone who lives in Westwood knows that Roach Brothers is such a friend, not only to the Community Chest, but to the entire Westwood community.
Yeah, they're the premier sponsor.
They are.
They're above everybody else in that regard because they're our biggest giver and they get that premier sponsorship designation.
They are, right. And they have been with us for a really long time. And so we're very grateful for that. But we're also grateful for all of our other sponsors, which include Needham Bank, Group 1 Auto, Supreme Development, Westwood Living. We're so grateful that you have joined us this year, so thank you so much.
Happy to do it.
Dedham Savings, Norfolk and Dedham Foundation, Rockland Trust, and the Fox Hill Village Homeowners Association.
That is a stellar roster.
It's a great list.
Yeah. And still an opportunity, if you are listening to this and you're associated with a company here, or even personally would like to step up and sponsor this gala, we need the funds.
Correct.
So there's still time to do so. And again, you could always go to westwoodcommunitychest.org and follow those prompts and join our sponsor family. And some of these sponsorships also come with tickets to the event. So just pursue all of those opportunities. One thing I've been impressed by with the people on the board is the wide range of experiences and expertise. And I know it's hard to put a board together, but we have people who are financial experts, people like yourself who have experience in philanthropy, people who have experience with sponsorships. How vital is that to get a really representative group of residents together who bring something different to the table?
Yeah, it's really important. And I think for anyone who's been on a nonprofit board, you need a real range of experiences, because we need people who have legal experience. We need people who have accounting experience. We need people who are social and want to throw together this gala, which is a huge part of our fundraising. People who are great fundraisers, and nice people who are kind and want to help make Westwood a better place. And I think we're all kind of in this together, and it's a real nice community to be a part of.
You said you grew up here. So I love talking to people who have had exposure to Westwood for many, many years, and just pick your brain about the evolution of this town, from what you experienced when you were a kid to what you're experiencing now as a mother of three who's used the public school system. Nora's at Holy Cross, and I know Sheila. I don't know your third child.
Yes, I have a 7th grade son.
Okay, yeah, that's why I don't know. He's too young. He's not on my radar yet. So you've got 3 kids. What has been your experience of growing up here and then also raising a family here?
So it's been great from childhood through now. It's a really different town in some ways than it was when I was a kid, but in some ways it's also not. My parents actually moved here, I might get the date wrong, it was before I was born, I think in 1968. They moved to Westwood because my father worked at Mass General, and we lived in striking distance of the 128 train station, so they only needed one car. And that was a lot of their philosophy in moving to Westwood. But the backstory of that is that my father as a child, had come to Hale when it was Scoutland as part of the Boy Scouts. And that was a really wonderful experience for him. He grew up in the city, and that was one of his first exposures to nature and the outdoors. And he really, I think, was always drawn to living in this town. So it was much more rural even when I was a child. I'm one of 5, so my older siblings would say it was even more rural back then. It was much more rural, and we lived over off of Canton Street. It was a really great childhood. I went to Downey School and Pine Hill, and Thurston and Westwood High. And when my husband and I were looking for a house, we looked everywhere except Westwood, because my parents still lived in town, and my sister lived here as well. And I just wasn't sure I could imagine myself living in town again. But we ultimately backed into living in Westwood, and it's been really great. My children have really benefited from the schools and the friends and the community, so it's been a nice experience.
Little shout out to Sheila, by the way, because we are recording this within a week of the production of Catch Me If You Can, the musical. And how about the sophomore stepping on stage in a pretty significant role there in the second act and banging out some high-profile performances? She did a great job. I mean, how did you feel there as a mom?
It was great. She did well. My daughters have been doing a lot of musical theater their entire lives, so it was really fun to see Sheila up on stage in Westwood. So it was a lot of fun.
Very cool. I have one more topic that I just want to touch on with you, because it personally intrigues me, because I have my own personal connection, which we talked about before we started recording this, which is that a friend of mine also did the same thing, but you were part of the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, and you went out to Portland, Oregon. So this is kind of in your blood. This give back is in your blood. You're a Jesuit-educated individual, and you went to the JVC. What was that experience like? And when you do that, what are the expectations going in, and what did you take coming out?
So the motto of JVC, the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, which is a year-long service program that I participated in after college, where you live with a group of people who are all about the same age, and you're all working in different social service agencies across whatever community you're living in. And you receive a stipend. We were not highly paid. I believe it was $75 a month, but your housing is provided for you.
Don't spend it all in one place.
JVC's motto is ruined for life. And I actually think that really does happen. The 8 of us that lived together, it was really one of the best years of my life. And I was really nervous about it. I had never lived outside of Massachusetts. And it was really life-changing. It was wonderful. My husband now was very supportive of me moving across the country, and it was just a really wonderful experience. And I came back and I ended up, going to school for social work, as many of us did, because it's really life-changing.
Yeah, my buddy John, who was from Brockton and went to BC and then went out to the JVC in Portland in 1992, he has stayed there.
Yes.
And he now works for the Beaverton Disability Services Organization. But I've visited him a couple of times. And Portland, if you have not been there, folks, is a absolutely beautiful place to visit. Go in the summer. But it was fantastic. We took a little road trip up to Seattle, which is the equivalent of like New York to Boston, that kind of distance.
Yes.
And just a great time. So the service is in your blood, the giving back is in your blood, and that's evident. And you've taken that to your role here as the co-president. I'm going to give you the stage one last time. Is there anything else we didn't hit on that you want to touch on?
No, I just think that the Gala of Giving is one of the Community Chest's largest fundraiser of the year. And I just really want to encourage folks to come out and support the organization. Really, every dollar that you give us, whether it's through our annual appeal or it's through the gala or bidding on these great auction items, is really going to go to help someone in town who's in need. And there's more need in town than you may think. And we're so happy that we can be here to help support people when they are in a tricky situation, because really anybody can be. Any one of us in a day could have a crisis, a financial crisis. So it's nice to be able to help people.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That is Ann Fortune, who's one of the co-presidents of the Westwood Community Chest. You can get more information at westwoodcommunitychest.org. And hopefully now you're motivated to buy your ticket and join us next Saturday night, the 29th, at the Norfolk Golf Club. But for now, from the Westwood Public Library with Ann Fortune, this is Tom Leyden saying thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.